don't do rumors on this show. I don't respond to rumors. Certainly don't create rumors. But I do feelings, which are probably just as abstract. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates in the same place that you found this. And I hope you'll check out those shows as well, since I put just as much into that coverage as I do into football coverage. In fact, I've spent the past week in Florida bouncing back and forth across Alligator Alley, covering 2 NHL games, covering a Grapefruit League spring training game, and then here yesterday in Miami covering the Pirates' opening loss to the Marlins. And I'm going to share something with you today from that perspective, that being a collective, cumulative perspective related to all three of our city's teams, and in turn, what's kind of happening in our city as a result of all three of them not being very good. I'm going to start with this. For those of you who've been with me for a while, you'll have heard this before. If not, the city of Pittsburgh is the only one anywhere in the world where all of the teams have the same first name and the same set of colors. The only one. And that's cool. You can be mad at one of the teams. You can be mad at two of them. You can be mad at all three, the way everyone seems to be right about now. But you grasp that they're still representing your city, your colors. And you come back for more. You always come back for more. It's not easy right now. The Penguins, who are the team of our city's youngest generation, unquestionably the team in that regard, had an unbelievable run. 5 Stanley Cup championships, some of quite literally the greatest players in hockey history. And that wasn't going to last forever. And it's not lasting forever. Pirates they're a beast of a discussion and debate at an entirely different level. So I covered one night in Tampa, the Penguins getting their brains beat out. I come over here to Miami, and the Pirates blow a lead against the worst lineup you've ever seen, what Miami put out there yesterday. Just the worst. And I'm flying home later today. And I was joking with somebody in the Marlins press box that all that's needed now is for the football team to do something spectacularly stupid. All that's needed now is for the football team to fly in the face of what the fans in the city, and I'm predominantly talking about people who are in the city, living in the city, because that's, it's hitting you in the face everywhere you walk. What those people want to be able to do, and that's to get behind a team with hope, with a sense of purpose, with a sense of direction, with a sense that there's an understanding among management all the way up to Art Rooney and ownership that what they've been doing the past few years as a whole doesn't work, that real change is needed, and that if you're not going to change the head coach, and you're clearly not, you at least need to make sure that things that he does that aren't working will get changed somehow, some way. They want draft picks that offer hope. They want free agent signings that offer hope. And above all, they want a quarterback that offers hope. Look, I'm not about to go on some other Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph screed here. I've made my case on both those counts. And whether or not you agree with them, I hope you respect that I'm being genuine related to both. You know what I actually want out of all this? Hear me out, because I'm about to say something ridiculous. What I actually want out of all of this is Kenny Pickett. And of course, I'm not talking about the real Kenny Pickett, who's now in Cleveland, fighting for his NFL life. I'm talking about the Kenny Pickett that came to Pittsburgh. The Kenny Pickett that was drafted by the Steelers. The Kenny Pickett that was part of that amazing raw film footage that you saw of Tomlin just basically sprinting down the hall to get on the phone to tell him that he was going to be a Steeler. The Kenny Pickett that had everyone thinking, here he is. Here it is. And, after the fact, everyone's like, no, I knew he wasn't going to be. Give me a break. Give me a break. Okay, I was there. I was on the receiving end of a lot of the expressions of excitement at the time. I was part of it. He just won the ACC championship. He just put up as many points as the Panthers needed to get that championship done. No one could have known at the time how much of that was his wide receivers or his coordinator or the college competition or whatever. It was just so cool, and everybody was ready to go. And then, on top of all that, there's a training camp and a preseason, a perfect, pristine performance in the preseason. And more than anything, it made you feel like they're going somewhere. We'll be patient. We'll take our time. But we know that there's an actual arrow pointing in an actual direction. That feels like a modest ask, but that's kind of where the conversation is right now. When we come back, J1Q. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George is a personal injury law firm in Western Pennsylvania that represents injured people in automobile accidents, workers' compensation cases, and medical malpractice claims. The attorneys at Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George pride themselves in doing what they say they're going to do. It's important to them that when they make you a promise, they keep that promise. And this law firm has been keeping promises for over 80 years. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George has been AV rated. That's the highest rating a law firm can receive for legal ability and ethics. And the lawyers at the firm have been designated super lawyers, that's a real thing, for over 15 years. Rare combination there. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George has offices in Cranberry, Newcastle, Beaver Falls, Butler, and Elwood City. Learn more about them at lgkg.com or by calling 888-842-5454. Again, that's 888-842-5454. Today's J1Q comes from Rick, who says, DK, why have you so often lately resorted to apocalyptic either-or scenarios? Like either the front office makes a stupid decision to go with, quote, an old guy, end quote, or they do the, quote, smart, end quote thing and draft at least one quarterback for the future. What's with this? Ever since jumping on the Fire Tomlin train, you've become overly negative, over the top, and somewhat bitter. I'm not in a position to argue with you, Rick, because your perception is your perception. And I respect that. I appreciate having you here and absolutely value having any feedback to the show. Consider the alternative. If that's what's coming across to you, then that's what's coming across to you. I didn't like the collapse of the football team. I didn't like what led into the collapse of the football team. And I haven't liked a lot of the internal response or lack thereof to the collapse of the football team. I feel like those are fair and responsible stances to hold in this set of circumstances. I really do. I really do. And I say that without even factoring in 8 years of not winning a playoff game. Once you do that, obviously, the sentiment can multiply very easily. And it did with me. I won't apologize for criticizing the Steelers any more than I'm ever going to apologize for praising them when I feel it's appropriate. But, and you knew I had to come back with a but, right? There's one thing that you mentioned in there that I really didn't like and that I will bite back on. And it's that I jumped aboard the Fire Tomlin train. Rick, you're a subscriber to DK Pittsburgh Sports. And as such, I would hope that you'd be more familiar with what I do and how than most. You've not only heard the shows, you've not only seen the videos, you've read the stuff. And I'm a writer at heart. That's what I do. It's what I've done my whole life. I would really hope that you would know me and my content and my approach better than to think that I just go following some kind of fad, which is what you're implying there. Ooh, everyone says Tomlin's got to go. Okay, so I'm going to do that too. I mean, I've just never done that. I've never done that. If there's anything that I take pride in more than anything else in expressing opinion on sports, is that it's my own opinion. It's not manufactured. It's not aimed at getting a certain reaction from people. It's not hot takes. It's just my opinion. That's all. It's not any more or less important than anybody else's. It's just my opinion. In my opinion, right now, in a general sense, regardless of how you want to interpret my messaging on it or my intonation on it, is that this is a stagnant operation. No part of what I do is aimed at instilling hope or optimism or anything else unless I actually believe that it's warranted. And what we've seen, Rick, in that collapse and in the way the management of the Steelers has responded to it is that everything is just okay. We're not going to make hardly any changes to the coaching staff, to how we do things, to how we communicate, and most importantly, to how we approach the most important position on the football field. If and when any of that changes, so do I. So does my stance. I don't entrench myself into irreversible positions. Circumstances change, so do stances. Mine do anyway. I'd like to see the Steelers do some different things. I'd like to see the Steelers recognize and react to very real mistakes that they've made. And I'd like to see the Steelers push all their chips into the center of the table toward finding their next quarterback. If that's a draft pick, like a Will Howard, like a Jalen Milroe, great. Make sure you get it right and then go all in. If that's a young player from somewhere else, already in the NFL, great. Do the homework. Go get him. If it's Mason Rudolph becoming the next Sam Darnold or Geno Smith, great, because he's already here. It's not, you know who. I appreciate the question. I really do. You might not think that I do, but I actually do. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Steelers today, all week long. And we'll be back with another one of these when I get home on Monday. Oh, and the double shot videos will be back as well.